part of growing and being competitive to reduce inequality, poverty, and unemployment, especially in KwaZulu-Natal. As we welcome the Honorable Premier Khuzeni. Over to you.
Thanks, the Program Director and MEC for the Department of Social Development in KwaZulu-Natal, Chairperson of the ANC Women's League, Honorable Khoza, Honorable MEC for Etia and Leader of Government Business, Ms. Nomusa Dubengube, Honorable Speaker of our Legislature, Ms. Nontembeko Boys, members of the Executive Council, the Chairperson of the House of Traditional Leaders, Inkosi Umadungeni, the Deputy Chairperson of the Provincial House of Traditional Leaders, Inkosi P.T. Zulu, who have just addressed us today. The Director General of the province, Dr. Mkhize, our panelists who spoke to us early today, all of them, we extend warm greetings. Let us take this opportunity to greet all people of KwaZulu-Natal who are following us on this virtual gathering today. I wish to start by asserting, and I make this strong assertion, that South Africa is better than before. And today, the 9th of August, we remember the 20,000 brave South African women who marched to the Pretoria regime and dare J.G. Stradom to extend the symbol of slavery, the Dompas, on the black women of South Africa. O Mama Imbokodo, Bama ngumhla August 9, bemela ukuthi yonke imithetho yobandlululo, kodwa isikakhulukazi imithetho yokuthi abantu baphoqwe ukuphatha amapasi implementwa komama abamnyama. Kwaba yilesi sikhathi abantu omama bama ndawonye ngaphandle kwebala, ngaphandle kokubheka ukuthi basukaphi, bahlangana bathi wathinta abafazi, wathinta imbokodo, uzawukufa. This now and that now, we have touched the woman, you have struck the rock, you will perish. It came direct from the brave hearts of Mama Lillian Ngoyi, Dora Tamane, Florence Matomela, Francis Bart, Mama Maggie Rasha, Helen Joseph, Sophie de Brain, and many others. These were Amadela Kufa, those brave stalwarts who were ready to go to prison or to face torture, death, and banishment for the clause of the Freedom Charter. They became known as ukuvete lwamakhosikazi. Among them were Umama Lillian Ngoyi, who we remember her saying, and I quote, "Men are born into the system, and it is as if it has been a tradition that they carry passes. Women, as women, have seen the treatment of our men. When they leave home in the morning, you are not sure whether they will come back. We are taking it very serious. If the husband is to be arrested and the mother, what about the child?" Close quote. These are words from Umama Lillian Ngoyi, owakwazi ukuthi ngalomyalezo wakhe ngesimo sabantu abamnyama conscientize kumbe afundise ngisho abantu abamnyama besilisa ngokuthi kumelwe kulwisane neminye imithetho efana nale mithetho yamapasi. Kwaba omama bevela kuyinhlangano ezazi under i-Federation of South African Women abahlangana baba imbumba. Baqala futhi basifundisa ngokuthi makuliwe nokubuthi imindeni ihlukunyezwe kumbe ihlukaniswe ngokuthi obaba bathathwe bayohlala kwezinye indawo la kuthiwa basebenza khona mase kuthiwa omama abavumelekile ukuza lapho. So indawo zamahostela ezaqala ukuvela ngaleyo mnyaka ngesikhathi kuqala i-industrialization eSouth Africa yindawo ngomthetho ezeza nokubulawa kwemndeni kuhlukaniswe imndeni. Omama bangaleso sikhathi bathi passes means broken homes, passes means destitute children and away with Bantu education. It was far before 1976, but lo myalezo womama uLilian Ngoyi waphila waze wabonakala na kwi-generation yango 1976 eyasukuma yalwisana neBantu education. It was that fearless Lilian Ngoyi who said, "My womb is shaken when they speak of the Bantu education." In the book Tomorrow's Sun, Helen Joseph recalled the day of the 9th of August, where she wrote and said, "As we stepped on that root room again and faced them, our hands empty now, those thousands of women rose spontaneously to their feet, lifting their hands in the Congress salute. 30 minutes, and still the arms were raised. Lilian began to sing," close quote. Labo mama babezinikele ngezimpilo zabo. Uma bona bakwazi ukumelana nombuso wobandlululo ngaleya ndlela, kumele thina namuhla sizibuza ukuthi ayini amagalelo ethu ekulwisaneni nencindezelo esasinayo before 1994 and ekulwetheni uguquko esilidingayo njengeKwaZulu Natal. Uma sigubha lonyaka namuhla sigubha ngaphansi kwesiqubulo esithi gender equality, realizing women's right for equal society now. And I'm sure that many of the compatriots following us today will agree with me when I say that comparing the past with the present is the assessment of the progress we are making as a nation toward the realization of the strategic goal. It is not a sense of bragging, but instead assessing and accounting to consult and take mandate on the further task of rebuilding our nation. Thus, this is a simple but a critical point to recognize as to where we come from as the South African society. The government of KwaZulu-Natal and our national government are engaged on a number of interventions that seek to restore the dignity of women and advance gender equality. These include uplifting social conditions of all people, but particularly ensure that women get more access and benefit on the development that is taking place in our country. I assert that women have benefited on the provision of basic services, access to healthcare, and social protection net. These have been implemented by our government and continues to be implemented by the government under the leadership of President Cyril Ramaphosa. We are inspired by the fact that more girls have access to education than any period before. We are inspired of specific interventions that seek to promote young girls in the education sector, such as girl coding program that have been introduced by the Department of Education in KwaZulu-Natal. There have been great progress in the provision of young girls with requisite skills that are needed by the economic industry. Through dedicated government bursaries, we continue to provide support to girls studying to become pilots, aviation engineering, mechanical and civil engineering. We continue to ensure the provision of support to young girls studying agricultural science and other studies that relate to agriculture. Through these skills and expertise, we are investing on young girls so that they make a meaningful contribution in the socio-economy of the country. Ngingakusho ngaphandle kokungabaza, akekho umntwana wentombazane before 1994 owake wakubona kulula ukuyofundela ukushayela ibhanoyi noma ukuyofundela ukwazi ukuqhuba umkhumbi. Kodwa under this government today sinabantwana abafundiswa uhulumeni, abantwana bamantombazane okunamuhla ibona bakwazi ukundizisa indiza, ibona bakwazi ukudrive imkhumbi ethwala izimpahla emazweni ahlukene. Uma ke si-investa kumakhono abantwana bamantombazane, si-investa ezweni, si-investa kuma-skills, sithi idlule lento ethi ukufundisa umntwana wentombazane akubalulekile. We must ensure that girls, young girls, are studying and they become successful. We're investing into the future, but at the same time, we are hard at work to realize the economic participation of women now, as the theme is saying, asenze abantu besifazane bafile amalungelo abo namuhla hayi kusasa. Yingakho ke njengohulumeni waKwaZulu Natal sigqugquzela ukuthi abantu besifazane babe yingxenye yokwakhiwa komnotho wethu owakhiwa kabusha. Yingakho sibona abantu besifazane beparticipate kuhlelo oluthulwe iDepartment yakwa Agriculture i-One Home One Garden. Yingakho sincoma igraduate yasongoye yentombazane ephume yaqala iorganization ebizwa ngoThingo Organic Academy okunamuhla isebenzisana neDepartment yakwa Agriculture ukufukula abaningi abantu besifazane isikakhulukazi labo abaphila nokukhubazeka. Namuhla bane nursery and seedling project successful lapha KwaZulu Natal. Yingakho futhi umnyango ulida abantu besifazane ekutheni bangene kwi-agriculture, whether ukhuluma nge-feedlot or ukhuluma nge-vegetables or goat production. Enye yama-project esiyibone idlondlobala ungena kwabantu besifazane ekutheni bafuye izinyama ebovu lapha KwaZulu Natal benze umkhiqizo like TSAR beef trading eonwa abantu besifazane edila ne-beef processing ekwazi manje uqala ukusupplya imarket. Siyafisa ukubonga ukuthi siyababona abantu besifazane kuyo yonke imkhakha yozolimo. It is pleasing that our government programs such as radical socio-economic transformation have proved that agriculture is a potential tool to ensure economic growth in rural areas. Through RASET, women in agriculture from rural areas such as Jozini and the entire Umkhanyakude, they now supply retail stores such as Boxer and Spar through their product. Through these programs, we will ensure that the full participation of women in the government market to ensure that they've got a sustainable market. Another sector ebaluleke kakhulu kubantu besifazane is sector ye clothing and textile. This sector is critical as an industry because it absorbs more low-skilled workers. We are pleased that the Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs has invested 14 million to women-owned cooperatives in areas of clothing and textile, recycling, art and culture, art and craft, carpentry, as well as agriculture, creating about 91 jobs. In order to create productive capacity, the Operation Vula program have seen the province supporting enterprises through capital equipment In this regard, 40 different industrial machines were availed to a women-owned clothing factory at Umsinga in order to ramp up the production potential. Umsinga, inkampani eyayisivaliwe yakabhatha, kodwa uma uhulumeni ungenelela ubalekelela omama, namuhla bayivulisile, abachagcini nje ngokuthunga, kodwa sebethungela ngisho uhulumeni baproduce ama-mask nezinto ezihlukahlukene. In the last 2 weeks, omama abavela kuma-cooperatives amane-4 eKingcetshwayo bathole ukuthi basecure i-supply, imakethe basupplye i-Richards Bay minerals with about 40,000 clothes masks. This is one program esifuna ukuyincoma ukuthi uma sibamsana sisonke i-private sector, uhulumeni, siyawuba negalelo elikhulu. But as part of radical economic transformation, in 2009, our government started industrialization. Through industrialization, the government provides support to people who want to be involved in manufacturing. It is pleasing that women are participating in this program, as we have seen that some now are producing linen and towels in some of our SEZs, specifically in the Dube Trade Port. But a 75% owned, women-owned company is also investing in Richards Bay as the elegant Afroliner, producing chemicals in Richards Bay. So lama SEZ, ama Special Economic Development Zone, okukhulunywa ngawo akangabi nje awama investors asuka emazweni angaphandle, akangabi awabantu besilisa kuphela, kodwa nomama base South Africa imbokodo kumele iparticipate. Siyafisa ukubonga ukuthi KwaZulu Natal yaqhubeka nokuconsolidate iKwaZulu Natal tourism chapter, which is very important in driving our economy. This chapter, the KZN tourism chapter, will assist in ensuring that women participate, especially in this economic sector, the tourism sector, and ensure that all areas, even to omama basemakhaya, kuthiwa abasemadolobheni, ama B&Bs abo akabe kwisimo la ezokwazi khona ukuthi athole imarket. Siyazi ukuthi ababaningi bazothola imarket kulezi zikhathi, kodwa uma kuvuleleka kudlula lockdown, siyazi ukuthi abantu bakithi bayoyithola imarket. Yingakho sikhuthaza ke ukuthi ayingabibikho isector esele nje la abantu besifazana abangekuyona ingxenye khona. We take this opportunity to applaud the continued effort of ensuring the integration of women in the poverty alleviation programs. The Department of Education has contracted more than 300 women cooperatives in their national school nutrition program. This is one intervention. Uma kunguthi kuhola umama ekhaya, u-70% womholo uvame ukuya ekhaya, kube u-30% la abhekelela yena kakhona. Kodwa uma kungubaba, 50% oyekhaya makube nenhlanhla, the rest ibheke eceleni. Yingakho sisho ukuthi le investment kuma women cooperatives is very important. Siyalazi uhlelo lwe-Department yakwa Agriculture lukazibambele la sithi akumaintainwe khona imigwaqo ey'ndaweni zasemakhaya ukuthi lulekelela kakhulu komama. But the Department of Transport has also adopted iGula as part of the Radical Economic Transformation Program. This policy allows subcontracting for projects of about 10 million and above on both infrastructure and non-infrastructure projects. Not less than 65 women-owned entities have benefited thus far, while the Department of Public Works, through ASC's Contractor Development Program has supported a number of emerging contractors in the construction sector. I've taken the opportunity to make this account so that we understand the strides made by our government to ensure economic emancipation as a credible evidence proving that our government is effective and practical. Once again, and with great respect, I refuse to accept the view that others are peddling, that government of our country is failing. From where I stand, that view does not hold water and is not based on fact. Comparing the past with the present is the assessment of the progress we are making toward the realization of the strategic goal. It is not a sense of bragging, but instead an assessment and the account. We do so that we also keep ourselves conscious of the task lying ahead. Our province is making progress in achieving gender parity in senior management in the public service. Overall, KwaZulu-Natal province continues to ensure that women are represented. Just last year in 2019, women in the senior position were standing at 43%, and this year they have moved to 46%, and we are continuing to a point where they will be above 50%. We must applaud departments such as Human Settlement, which have reached 58% of women in senior position. Those also include the Department of Culture and Agriculture, as well as the Department of Education and the Department of Arts and Culture. All departments in KwaZulu-Natal need to ensure that women in senior management position are fairly represented as required. The private sector has a lot to learn from this department. When it comes to gender mainstreaming and attaining gender equality, the private sector need to learn from what we are doing as the government. We challenge the private sector to ensure that they adhere to economic transformation. But as government, we will continue to enforce and continuously monitor the performance when it comes to the Employment Equity Act and the Black Economic Emancipation or the Black Economic Empowerment Act. We want to see lento Johannesburg Stock Exchange irreversible, iaddressiwe. We can't have a situation where in big companies there is not even a single black African woman who is part of the top 100 companies that are listed. Ngifisa ukumsupporta ubaba uNxesi ukuthi kumele si-enforce i-compliance with the Employment Equity Act kuzo zonke izindawo eziqashayo. Mphathi wohlelo ubaba umongameli odlule, the former President Nelson Mandela and the former President of Cuba, Fidel Castro, when cementing relations between the two sister countries, they signed a partnership on promoting medical profession. They never knew that the world will sooner be engulfed by coronavirus just half a decade after their departure. Today, medical profession is full of young girls who are serving as doctors, who are a product of this program. In each and every district oya kuyo lapha KwaZulu-Natal uyamthola udokotela omnyama osemncane ophuma among others kule program yahulumeni la uhulumeni wethu ebebamsene khona nabantu nezwe laseCuba. These doctors and nurses are amongst many who are in the front line in the fight against COVID-19. We celebrate them for the work they are doing in Claywood, King Edward, Ngwelezane, and many other hospitals in KwaZulu-Natal. I want to make it clear, as the country, we need to separate those who are doing wrong and underperforming from those who are dedicated and providing effective services in the public service. The theory that all healthcare workers are not effective is correct, is wrong and unfounded. It is these healthcare workers who make our province and our country to see more than 60% of people who are infected by coronavirus recovering. These are girls, women who are in the front line of these countries, our sisters and mothers who are ensuring ukuthi abantu abangena ezibhedlela bayalulama. Siyazi ukuthi enye yeinkinga esibhekene nazo njengesizwe isihlava se-gender based violence and femicide. Lesi sihlava sihambisana nokuthi kubukelwe phansi abantu besifazane bahlukunyezwe ngokocansi. Lesi sihlava sikhona eindaweni ezihlukahlukene, kungaba amasonto, kungaba ezemidlalo, kungaba amabhizinisi, kungaba iminyango kahulumeni neba departments ahlukahlukene kuma spheres onke. Futhi lesi sihlava siyayibonakalisa even when it comes to cultural activities. Kumele siqinisekise ukuthi ukubandlululwa kwabantu besifazane siyaqeda. Kumele siqinisekise ukuthi siyalwisana nodlame olubhekiswe kubantu besifazane. Sinethembe lithi inhlaka zomthetho zizoqhubeka zisebenze ukuqinisekisa ukuthi igilamkhuba ezihlukumeza abantu besifazane ziyaboshwa. Siyakhumbula ngonyaka odlule abantwana 4 bebulawa ubaba wabo uMpungose eWaybank. NgoNovember of last year, loyo baba watholwe necala and he was sentenced to 4 life imprisonment. Nasesikhothi siyazi sehlakalo esenzeka kubulawa ukurepwa nokuqala lokubulala elalidelana khona ukuthi ngokusheshsha umenzi Dlamini anikwe isigwebo sokudilikelwa yijele. Siyazi ukuthi eManguza omunye usentenswe for ukurepa umntwana wakhe ona 13 years and has been sentenced to life imprisonment. Ezinye zama successes ezenziwa i-judiciary eSouth Africa, kodwa iqiniso lithi indlela isende uqeda lesi sihlava. Mphatho hlelo ngiyavumelana nabathi kumele senze sikaddress ukuthi iKwaZulu Natal ibonakale iba yikhaya lobugebengu. Kumele sikaddresse lokhu eNanda, eMlazi, eMaritzburg, eMpangeni, eNewcastle njengoba ubaba ucele eshilo ethula umbiko wakhe. From uJuly 2020 siyazi ukuthi amacala abikiwe gender based violence angu 1005 from uJuly walonyaka. Kusiphatha kabi ukuthi kuze kube manje kulabantu kulama cases angu 1005 abasaboshiwe bangu 184. Sizokusukumela siqinisekise ukuthi lesi sihlava siyalwisana naso sisiphule sisiqede. Kodwa noma kunjalo mphathi ohlelo asibonge iDepartment yakwa Social Development esikwazi ukuthi inikezele icounseling kuma victims ngesikhathi nangendlela ehloniphekile kuyo yonke iKwaZulu Natal. Kulesi sikhathi nje kusukela unyaka uqaliwe siyazi ukuthi iDepartment isinikezele icounseling kubantu abangaphezulu ka2960 KwaZulu Natal, and those people have received the psycho-social support through the Department of Social Development. Uma siqhubeka ukuze siqinise umthetho, maningi ama-bills apromulgatwe uhulumeni wethu. Enye yalama bills, it's a victim support services bill which seek to combat the surge of crime, in particular the gender-based violence and femicide. Siyazi futhi ukuthi uhulumeni wethu ureviewer futhi uprocessor i-Domestic Violence Act, which is a critical act ezoqinisekisa ukuthi ukuvikeleka komama emakhaya kuyi-priority. So anginiki isiqinisekiso njengohulumeni waKwaZulu Natal sizosebenza throughout ukuqinisekisa ukulwa ne-gender based violence and femicide. Ngiyafisa ukugcina ngokubonga ungqongqoshe wezempilo ubaba uZweli Mkhize ngokuthi abe ingxenye yeKwaZulu Natal kuleli sonto ekulwisaneni nokhuvethe lwe-COVID-19. Ehambeli KwaZulu Natal ubaba Mkhize mentioned ukuthi uyinelisekile ngendlela iprovince eprepare ngayo ukubhekana nalesimo se-COVID-19. Kodwa futhi siyazi njengoba kushiwo ukuthi istorm yimasi fika, and therefore sonke kumele siqinisekise ukuthi siyazivikela. Indlela zokuyivikela zibekiwe ukuthi siwashe izandla ngamanzi o sisebenzise ama sanitizers, siqinisekise ukuthi sifaka ama mask, silandela imigomo ye social distance yokuqhelelana ukuze sivikeleke ukutheleleka nokuthelela abanye. Kuleli sonto izinamba nje zama cases amasha esizibonayo zinyuka usuku nosuku, and each and every day sithola inamba ezicela ku-2000. Yingakho inamba zabantu esebe infected in KwaZulu Natal yonke njengamanje zu-92,844. Siyafisa ke ukunxusa kubantu bakithi ukuthi asiqhubeke sizivikele, but njengohulumeni futhi si-concerned kakhulu ngezinga labantu, ngokwenyuka kwezinga labantu abashona beshonela emakhaya. Lokhu kukhanda ukuthi kungaziwa ukuthi umuntu ushone ebulawa yini, as a result abebephila naye bangakwazi ukuthi banikezelwe usizo ngokusheshsha. Like i-HIV and AIDS asingafaki istigma kule sifo se-COVID-19. Masiqinisekise ukuthi siyabamsana uqeda lesi sihlava. Compatriots, addressing a conference in 1961, Lillian Ngoyi reminded the women of our country that freedom does not come walking toward you. It must be won. As women, we must go and play our part in the liberation of our country, close quote. And I dare add that the economic emancipation of women and the ending gender-based violence will not be achieved through talk alone. It requires hard work, organization, and commitment. It demands that we must unite now, fight together against gender inequality and gender-based violence. It means that we must go back to our traditions of organs of people's power, of street committees, of being vigilant in every ward and voting district. We must again be each other's keepers. It means that we must get back and go to the private sector to implore on them to play their role in the economic emancipation of women, so that women do not have to be forced to survive in abusive relationships because they lack means to be independent. Let us work together, understanding that we must eliminate gender-based violence, but the ultimate and strategic objective is to create a truly non-sexist society. Let us grow KwaZulu Natal together. Let us ensure that the future becomes brighter than the today. Sithi Nkosi sikelela iAfrika malibongwe. Siyabonga sihlalo.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Let us give the Honorable Premier a round of applause. onezindlebe zokuzwa hayi uzwile. Those were the wise words from our Premier Ukhuzeni. Thank you once more. I want to thank all the panelists for their well-presented and well-researched presentations. Thank you so much. Enikwenze kithi nikwenze nakwabanye nangomuso. I want to thank all the participants, members from different formations. Siyabonga kakhulu ukuba nani. You've made our day. But I want to thank the Premier for affording us this opportunity just to give us a platform ethi kufanele lolu suku lubalulekile ukuba silikhumbule nangona kunje. I want to wish those who are infected a speedy recovery, especially ubaba Ubuthelezi na all ministers abake bathinteka. Today is the birthday of Umama Uweziwe Thusi, the treasurer of the ANC Women's League. She's the provincial treasurer, as well as the speaker of eThekwini. Happy birthday, Mamwezi. Together with Umama Ugertrude Shope, Sithi Unwele Olude, because those are the living legends. Abasithathe basibeka lapho sikhona. Sihalalisela umama uAnsophie de Brain ukuthi a celebrate nathi kulonyaka usuku lwe-Women's Day. Kubo bonke abanama questions nabafisa ukwenza i-follow up, siyafisa we have an open door policy and we invite them, especially to our offices. They can contact ama departments wethu or just contact their municipalities. As abanye beya emakhaya, sithi hambani kahle, sifunde ukunakekelana, ingakumbi umntwana wakho, umntwana wami, asifunde ukunakekela abantwana bethu bangapheli phambi kwamehlo ethu. Siyalibonga usuku, siyanibongela kakhulu. Kubhani ngokukahle kulenyanga kaAugust and beyond. Upremier wethu uthi sigubha 365 days le Women's Month, not just in August, but let each day be the month of August, be treated as the month of August. Siqhubeke senze ukulunga, baphele abantu abafayo ezandleni zabathandiweyo ba. Siyabonga. Siyabonga kakhulu. Siyabonga.
Karin, the Premier is going to have a take in English on the stats and issues here. Okay. And then, Mana.
Okay, I see it.